I am Koizumi Shinjiro, Minister of the Environment, Japan. I would like to express my gratitude to ICLEI and its co-organizers. I am especially thankful to the Race to Zero campaign initiator, UNFCCC Secretary General Patricia Espinosa, and the high-level climate action champion, Nigel Topping. At the outset of today's event, centered on the themes of the net zero target by 2050 and decarbonization, I would like to announce two good news. One is about coal-fired power plants, and the other is about the zero carbon city movement in Japan. To begin with, let me tell you about the first good news on coal-fired power plants. This month, the Japanese government has announced a new policy on the export of coal-fired power plants. Japan has revised its policy to help export of infrastructures to support a transition to decarbonization. The government will not, in principle, support the coal-fired power plants planned in the future in countries where the government of Japan does not have complete knowledge about their energy circumstances and challenges, as well as their policies towards decarbonization. The strategic policy for the overseas expansion of infrastructures aims at promoting export of infrastructures under economic cooperation with the government of Japan. However, in this new strategy, only coal-fired power plants are defined as the ones not to be supported, which is unprecedented. At the last stage of discussions on this matter, the minister in charge of energy policy issued instructions to start discussions on the ways to phase out inefficient coal-fired power plants by 2030 in Japan. As a result of this revision of the policy on the export of coal-fired power plants, the ministry in charge of climate change and the one in charge of energy have started to jointly work to promote transition to decarbonization, domestically and internationally. I want to emphasize that this is a clear departure from the past. Then, I will tell you about the second good news on zero carbon cities. Last year in September, when I was appointed Minister of the Environment, there were only 4 zero carbon cities, local governments committing to achieving zero carbon emissions by 2050. Following a wide call for other local governments to join the zero carbon commitment, zero carbon cities have now exceeded 100 within a year. Yesterday, 47 municipalities, including Kita Ibaraki City and Okayama Prefecture, announced their commitments to net zero carbon. Saitama City, whose mayor will make a presentation in today's event, also joined the net zero carbon cities. With these statements, this encompasses almost 70 million people, exceeding half of Japan's population. The increase in the number of local governments committing to decarbonization reflects the will to fight against climate change. Last month, after the publication of the white paper on the environment, the Ministry of the Environment declared that this is nothing but a clear manifestation of the climate crisis. This month, many lives were lost as heavy rains in the western part of Japan triggered river flooding in residential areas. People in the regions suffering from intensifying natural disasters over the last few years have been increasingly feeling threatened by climate risks. As a result of this growing sense of urgency towards the climate crisis, the zero carbon city movement is expanding. I strongly believe that as more than half of Japan's population has now committed to decarbonization, we will be seeing an irreversible race to zero. I trust that local governments' ambitious goals will be a driving force to accelerate the achievement of net zero carbon for Japan as a whole. I sincerely hope that this event itself will be an opportunity to trigger a global transition to decarbonization. Thank you. ありがとう。